Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Hope in the Face of Cancer. Today, it's just the two of us. A quiet moment to reflect on what has been one of the most meaningful months in our journey together. When we set out to honor National Cancer Survivors Month this year, we wanted it to be something different. And together, we've achieved that. This month felt like something deeper, something living and breathing, a movement of compassion, courage, and connection that stretched far beyond anything we could have planned. A true celebration of survivors everywhere. In every corner of our community, we witnessed moments that took our breath away. Survivors sharing their stories with honesty and grace, caregivers opening their hearts and reminding us of the quiet strength it takes to walk alongside someone you love. Volunteers stepping into hospital rooms, community spaces, and conversations to remind people that they are not alone. Nurses, social workers, families, and friends, so many people from all walks of life choosing to show up for one another. Throughout the month, we hosted events, delivered books, sat in circles, and stood in rooms where hope felt almost tangible. It was in the eyes of someone holding Hope in the Face of Cancer, the book, for the first time. It was in the applause that followed a survivor's words, or the quiet tears of someone who finally felt seen. And today we want to honor all of it. We want to hold space for what we've created together and the collective spirit behind it. The willingness to be vulnerable, the generosity to share, the power of being present for someone else's story. This episode is a moment to reflect, to celebrate what we've done together, to give thanks for the many hearts that made it possible, and to look ahead, believing that the work we do, the stories we tell, the hope we carry will continue to ripple out in ways we can't yet see. Let's start by talking about National Cancer Survivors Month and what it means. Each June, communities across the country come together to honor National Cancer Survivors Month, a time to set aside to celebrate the strength, resilience, and life of those who have faced cancer. But at CanCare, this month isn't just a date on the calendar, it's deeply personal. It's our mission in motion. It's what we're all about. National Cancer Survivors Month is a tribute to survivorship, not just survival in the medical sense, but the wholeness and healing that can continue long after treatment ends. It's a recognition that survivorship doesn't look the same for everyone. For some, it's about embracing a new normal. For others, it's carrying both the scars and the strength into every part of life. And for many, it's the quiet courage of taking one step at a time. At CanCare, this month is a chance to honor survivors by walking alongside them. We know that the emotional journey through cancer doesn't stop when the treatment does. Survivors often wrestle with isolation, fear of recurrence, and the complex process of reclaiming their identity. Our dedication to our cancer community is to ensure no one has to face cancer alone. National Cancer Survivors Month gives us a visible collective moment to highlight the importance of emotional support, of community, and of hope that continues beyond survival. It gives us a voice to the often unspoken experiences of survivorship and reminds us that healing happens in layers over time, and most powerfully, together. This month allows us to spotlight the stories of our volunteers, many of whom are survivors themselves. It allows us to connect with hospitals, organizations, and individuals who are committed to making survivorship not just possible, but meaningful. It's a time when our mission steps out into the light through social media, book drops, podcast episodes, and in-person events to remind the world that there is life after a cancer diagnosis, and there's a community ready to walk that life with you. One of our biggest missions this month was to get CanCare's book, Hope in the Face of Cancer, into the hands of more than 3,500 individuals who need it most, people who are just beginning their cancer journey. For someone newly diagnosed, those first days and weeks can feel overwhelming and isolating. There are questions, fears, appointments, and a deep need to know that they're not the only one. Our goal has been simple: to make sure that no one begins their cancer journey without a reminder that hope is possible and they are not alone. This month, we launched an incredible effort to do just that. Through a series of book drops across Texas, we've been distributing Hope in the Face of Cancer to hospitals, infusion centers, oncology clinics, and survivorship programs. These are places where people are receiving treatment, waiting for news, or just trying to breathe through one of the hardest moments of their lives. Each book handed out is more than a story collection. It's a warm hand on someone's shoulder saying, "Others have walked this road and they're still standing. You can too." And the impact is already being felt in powerful ways. We've heard from nurses, patient navigators, social workers, and professors who have shared just how much this book means to their patients. People are opening its pages and recognizing pieces of themselves inside the stories. They're finding comfort, courage, and community. What began as a collection of stories has grown into a movement of hope, a growing circle of survivors, caregivers, healthcare professionals, and supporters who are saying together, "We see you, we're with you, and we believe in your tomorrow." This month has also shown us the power of partnership, how organizations with hearts for healing can come together to create something bigger than any of us could accomplish alone. Memorial Hermann Cancer Center has been an extraordinary sponsor and partner throughout National Cancer Survivors Month. They didn't just lend their name to this effort, they showed up in meaningful and visible ways. Their partnership reflected a shared commitment to celebrating survivors, supporting families, and reminding people facing cancer that healing is possible. One of the most powerful collaborations we shared was at the Memorial Hermann Canopy Cancer Survivorship Center in the Woodlands, Texas. That space is such a testament to what whole person healing looks like. Survivor and contributor to our book, Survivor and contributor to our book, Rita Villanueva, and I had the privilege of joining the community there for a book signing and distribution event, where we met survivors face to face and shared hope in the face of cancer with those who needed it most. The programs at Canopy, from movement and wellness classes to support groups and community care, reflect the same values we hold at CanCare, that healing is emotional, physical, and deeply relational. We also work closely with the Memorial Hermann team on a series of book drops across their cancer centers and healthcare facilities in the greater Houston area. These weren't just deliveries, they were handoffs of hope. With every book placed into a waiting room, infusion center, or oncology department, we extended the message that no one needs to face cancer alone. American Oncology Network has also emerged as an incredible new partner in hope. In June, we had the privilege of speaking with more than 200 operations leaders from AON. And what struck me most was their genuine commitment to whole person care. These aren't just healthcare professionals focused solely on medical treatment. They understand that healing happens on multiple levels, and emotional support is absolutely essential to that process. AON is now providing our Hope in the Face of Cancer book directly to their patients, ensuring that hope reaches people at exactly the moment they need it most. But they're going even further than that. They're actively referring patients to CanCare for emotional support, recognizing that the journey through cancer extends far beyond the treatment room. What moves me most about this partnership is AON's dedication to making emotional support a cornerstone of the exceptional care they provide to our cancer community. They understand that when someone faces cancer, they need more than medical expertise. They need to know they're not alone. They need hope, and they need connection with others who truly understand. Alliant Insurance Services invited us to speak to their employees during National Cancer Survivors Month. Alliant doesn't just talk about caring for their employees, they live it. They've built robust employee resource groups that create real community and support within their workplace. And one of these groups is completely focused on cancer survivors and caregivers among their employees. When a company creates space for employees to share their cancer journeys, to support one another through treatment and recovery, and to acknowledge that cancer touches so many of our lives, that is leadership with heart. That's understanding that people bring their whole selves to work, including their challenges, fears, and triumphs. To our partners, thank you for showing up and for showing what it looks like to truly care for people facing cancer. Your partnerships are changing lives, and expanding our reach in ways that matter deeply. This June also marked the official launch of our CanCare Ambassador Program, and I have to tell you, it's been one of the most exciting parts of National Cancer Survivors Month. We now have over 40 CanCare ambassadors located all across the country, from Houston to Northern California to the East Coast. These incredible individuals are taking the mission of CanCare into their own communities, sharing their stories, offering encouragement, and helping others find light throughout their cancer journey. Our ambassadors are survivors and caregivers who've walked the journey themselves. They know what it's like to sit in a waiting room with fear and unknowns that come with a new cancer diagnosis. They know what it's like to care for someone through sleepless nights. And now they're choosing to show up for others with courage, vulnerability, and compassion. In just a few short weeks, they've spoken at churches, synagogues, hospitals, wellness centers, luncheons, and community events. They've offered their voices, their presence, and most of all, their hearts. They've looked someone in the eye and said, "I've been where you are, and you are not alone." They've helped inspire others to become volunteers. They've extended warmth, understanding, and the kind of hope that comes from lived experience. To every single one of our more than 40 ambassadors across the nation, thank you. Thank you for using your story as a source of strength for others. Thank you for carrying this mission into your communities. And thank you for reminding the world that even in the hardest moments, hope can still rise. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to see how this program continues to flourish in the months ahead. Every Tuesday in June, we dropped a new episode of this podcast, and each one has made a unique impact. We started the month with Lillian Van Velt Gray, a bold breast cancer survivor and inspirational executive from our partner organization, Alliant Insurance, whose story charged us up. She talked about the power of advocacy, the importance of early detection, and how surviving cancer gave her a whole new mission in life. Her voice was fierce, her presence was unforgettable. Dr. Jackie Brock, Chief Nursing Executive at Harris Health and a CanCare board member, shared how her world shifted when she became a caregiver herself, and how that changed the way she leads today. She reminded us that true care comes not just from what you do, but who you are. Her heart for patients and families radiated through every word. And then our first ever survivorship panel at She Space. What a treat to hear from 3 moving survivors with over 40 years of combined survivorship. Set in one of Houston's most inspiring women-led spaces, She Space, we gathered with Chantel, a breast cancer survivor and powerhouse entrepreneur, Renee, a survivor of a rare cancer with a deep sense of faith, and Keith, a stage 4 lymphoma survivor and veterinarian whose story touches everyone he meets. Their conversation was authentic and uplifting. They reflected on the difficult moments. They laughed and celebrated each other, and we all walked away with something to carry on our own journeys. I invite you to check out these powerful episodes if you haven't already. Our book signing at Tootsie's, one of Houston's most iconic fashion destinations, was a joyful and heartfelt evening. Set against the beautiful backdrop of curated fashion and heartfelt conversation, this event felt like a true celebration. Contributors from our Hope in the Face of Cancer book showed up with their families, and the room quickly filled with connection, emotion, and community. They met readers, shared hugs, signed books, and brought their stories to life in a way that left a mark on everyone present. Hosted by Tootsie's owner, Donna Lewis, the night brought together people from the CanCare family, Tootsie's team, and the wider Houston area community. What started as a book signing became a powerful reminder of what happens when courage is shared and hope is held out loud. People weren't just exchanging signatures, they were exchanging strength. We are so grateful to everyone who joined us and to Tootsie's for hosting an evening we'll never forget. Another part of this month that truly filled my heart was what was happening online or social media platforms where so many people gather and sometimes unexpectedly find what they need. Throughout June, we dedicated our entire social media presence to National Cancer Survivors Month. We wanted you to see our mission in action. Every post, every comment, every story we shared was a living reflection of what we stand for: hope, connection, and community. We featured stories from survivors across the country, each one powerful in its own right. Stories of faith, grit, humor, and the quiet strength it takes to choose hope in the face of fear. Every time we shared one, the response was electric. People tagged their loved ones, left heartfelt comments. They said, "This gave me hope." But what made it all so special was watching our mission come to life through the faces and footsteps of our CanCare community. Throughout the month, photos and videos poured in from across the country of ambassadors speaking at events, volunteers hugging survivors, staff members delivering books, and partners walking beside us every step of the way. CanCare ambassadors, volunteers, and staff didn't just support the message, they became the message. Whether it was standing at a podium, attending a luncheon, visiting a hospital, or showing up to celebrate at a book signing, they embodied what it means to serve with heart. Each post was a window into our mission in action, a reminder that this work is deeply human, a reminder of how far a single story can reach when it's shared with love. One thing we've seen clearly during National Cancer Survivors Month is just how many people are walking into a cancer diagnosis for the very first time. More people are being diagnosed, more families are stepping into the unknown, and more survivors are navigating life after treatment. And with that growing need comes a clear call. We need more volunteers. That's why right now we're inviting more volunteers to join us. At CanCare, volunteers are the heart of everything. They're survivors and caregivers. They remember what it felt like to sit in the waiting room, what it's like to hold everything together on the outside while falling apart on the inside. They're people who simply want to walk with someone else through what they've already walked through themselves. We're seeing more requests for support than ever from our hospitals, social workers, and individuals who are looking for someone who understands. And we want to say yes to every one of them. But to do that, we need more voices, more lived experience, more quiet strength showing up at just the right moment. If you've ever thought maybe my story could help someone else, the answer is yes, it can, and it will. This isn't about having the perfect words. It's about being willing to show up with your heart open and remind someone they're not alone. You don't have to be a professional. You just have to be willing. We'd love to walk this journey with you. You can learn more about becoming a volunteer at cancare.org/volunteer. None of this, not the book distributions, the ambassador program, events that filled our hearts, would be possible without the generous donors who make all of this work happen. To every person who has given to CanCare, whether it's your first gift or you've been supporting us for years, you are literally putting hope into someone's hands. Your donations fund the printing and distribution of thousands of books. They support our volunteers and ambassadors as they share their stories. They make it possible for us to say yes when a hospital calls asking for support for their newly diagnosed patients. You are the reason we can walk alongside people in their darkest moments and remind them they're not alone. And if you're listening today and thinking, I want to be part of giving hope to someone facing cancer, I want to invite you to join our Hope in the Face of Cancer campaign. Through this campaign, you can directly gift books to those newly diagnosed in our partner hospitals. It's a beautiful way to extend hope to someone who desperately needs to know their story isn't over. You can learn more and get involved at cancare.org/hopebook. Every gift, no matter the size, becomes a seed of hope in someone else's journey. And that's a beautiful thing to be a part of. This month has shown us what's possible when people choose to show up for each other, when survivors share their stories, when caregivers open their hearts, when organizations choose partnership over competition, when communities decide that no one should face cancer alone. We've seen books placed in waiting hands at exactly the right moment. We've watched ambassadors carry hope into communities across the country. We've witnessed the power of partnership with organizations that truly understand what whole person care looks like. And we've felt the generosity of donors who believe that hope is worth investing in. But perhaps most beautifully, we've been reminded that every single person in our community, whether you're a survivor, a caregiver, a volunteer, a partner, or a listener, has something vital to offer. Your story matters. Your presence makes a difference. Your willingness to show up changes lives. To everyone who made National Cancer Survivors Month extraordinary, thank you. You've helped us create something that will ripple outwards for months and years to come. Let's keep sharing stories. Let's keep showing up. And let's keep building a future where no one has to face cancer alone. The hope we've planted this month is just the beginning. I'm Darcie Wells, and from all of us at CanCare, thank you for making this National Cancer Survivors Month a month we will never forget. Until next time, remember, there is always hope in the face of cancer. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Hope in the Face of Cancer, a survivor by your side. If you or someone you know is facing cancer or is supporting a loved one through their journey, we invite you to share this podcast. Thank you for your support in our efforts in the cancer community. No one should face cancer alone.